Hey guys! Today I'm going to teach you how I made these Overwatch coasters. I think they're super cool and fun looking and also useful in protecting your furniture. So when you're playing Overwatch and you gotta grab a drink, you won't have to worry about ruining your furniture with water spots or get your family members mad at you about ruining furniture. But anyways, let's get started! What you'll need is some tiles, which I found these at Home Depot for about $1 each. Some craft foam sheets in whatever color you like. This one happens to be an adhesive back, which makes things a lot easier, but if you can't find this type, don't worry, you can always glue it on with E6000. A printout of whatever pictures you like. I chose these cool spray tags. Some scissors, make sure not to cut yourself. Some tape, make sure not to tape yourself. Some crayons you don't mind destroying. A pencil. Some acrylic paint, and it doesn't matter what type of acrylic paint you use, just as long as it's acrylic paint, because that's what's going to make this waterproof. And of course, paintbrushes. Alright, let's get going! So I have all my images printed out to the size that'll fit my tile, and I'm going to cut each of them out and start working on this Roadhog one. So you're going to take your crayon and make sure it's a dark color, and you want to do an even dark layer on the back of your image. Now it's important that you do it on the back. That way you're making it like a transfer paper or a carbon copy, but instead of carbon we're using crayon. And I had actually done this once with the Crayola crayons I had, and it didn't really work. I guess they're just too fancy for this kind of job. So you want to use those really cheap, really waxy crayons, and I was able to just use the dollar store kind, and it worked out great. So now I taped down my image onto the tile. You want to make sure that your image doesn't wiggle around on you while you're trying to transfer things over, because then you might get some extra lines or a double image and just make it really confusing when you're trying to paint it in. You just want to do an outline of your entire image and make sure you give extreme pressure when you're tracing it. Okay, maybe not extreme pressure, but the point of it is you want to put enough pressure that it pushes the crayon off the back of the paper and makes it stick onto the tile, so that way you have the outline transferred onto the tile for you to paint. Before you completely remove the paper, you want to lift up just one side and see if everything was transferred over completely. If not, then just lay the paper back down and trace over it again to make sure that the crayon was completely transferred. At the end, there were still some lines that were transferred but were too light, so I just went over them again with a pencil. You really want to make sure you can see everything so you know where to paint. So now we get to the painting. I really like choosing the spray tags for this just because they're pretty simple to paint. You don't want something really overly complicated, especially with these type of tile that have a texture on them. You might lose some of the detail in these little texture bubbles on the tile. But this is your craft, so you can choose whatever image you like, be it difficult or easy. Just giving you a heads up. The other thing is, you don't even have to do Overwatch. If you want to do this with another video game you like, or a cartoon, or a show, or anything, maybe your own personalized drawings that you've done, that would work perfectly too. All you gotta do is the same technique of printing it out, coloring the back, and transferring it onto the tile. I chose these 4 characters because they're Jamin's, well, mostly Jamin's favorite characters. d.va's my favorite, of course. Jamin likes playing with Roadhog a lot, and he's also known to play Zenyatta and Mei from time to time. Plus, I think these are really cool. I know he likes drinking water or coffee at his desk, and I don't know, I guess I get a little paranoid about having beverages on furniture and possibly ruining the furniture. I don't know, maybe I'm old or something. But yeah, we like having coasters at our house, and I figured, hey, if you're gonna have a coaster, might as well have a fun coaster, something that people will be like, hey man, can I use a coaster? Oh wow, these are awesome coasters! Because, you know, that happens all the time. But yeah, you know what I mean. And really quick, I just wanted to re-emphasize for you guys that you can choose whatever image you want, but keep in mind, depending on how detailed your image is, it's gonna also take you a lot longer. This one maybe took me 20 or 30 minutes, and I know it's a really simple image and it only has the 3 colors, but you do have to wait between colors. For example, I didn't want the light gray mixing with the dark gray, or the dark gray mixing in with a yellow. So I kept waiting in between each layer to make sure that everything was nice. And also, I wanted it to be really detailed with all the edges and make everything look as nice and crisp as I possibly could. You also want to make sure that you let these dry for a long time. I know acrylic looks dry probably in like 10 or 20 minutes, but you want to leave them at least overnight so that the paint is fully cured and it's really stuck on the tile and it's not going to come off. Now the last thing we got to do is add the foam backing. So you're going to trace her around the tile and cut it out. And you want to cut it out a little bit smaller than the tile just so it's not sticking out from underneath there. And peel off the backing and stick it on, and ta-da! You have your completed Overwatch tile. Yay! So pretty. And here are all the completed tiles all together. So I only showed you how I made the Roadhog one, but the other 3 were made using the exact same steps. These would make some really great gifts for a fellow Overwatch fan, and maybe make it using their favorite character. Or if you're really ambitious, you can go for all the characters. Completely up to you. Oh, and yes, they happen to be cat-approved coasters as well. Thank you, Kami, for making sure they are cat-approved. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Kami, say hi. Say hi, Kami. Sniff, 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 sniff.